This is a first in a series of 4 webinars, which is around how do you make your entry in the Salesforce ecosystem, or how do you build your career in the Salesforce ecosystem. Some of it is based on my past experience, and some of it is based on what I've seen in the industry and in the ecosystem over the years. I'll try and keep it a little bit lightweight and more of an introductory session for this week, and then next week we'll dig deeper into one of the specific aspects. But the idea is that what we'll cover today is what is the opportunity in the Salesforce ecosystem. How do you go about, what is the approach that you go about entering the Salesforce ecosystem? What I really want to do today is I actually want to hear from people, and we'll reserve about 15 to 20 minutes. This is a 45-minute session, but pretty much half of it I'll reserve for Q&A, because I did receive a lot of questions on LinkedIn as well. And then we'll kind of wrap it up and set the tone for another session that we'll do next week. So before we do that, I do want to quickly introduce SaaSguru. It's a cert prep platform. Cert prep means certification prep. I do want to make it very clear, it's not a platform where you actually get dumps or where you can use as a shortcut to clear exams. That is not at all the intention. The idea is that it is a platform very similar to Trailhead, which focuses on building out your core concepts. There are some differences. It is tailored based on your assessment, progress, and performance. It actually helps you prepare. So for example, if you do really well in an assessment, then the next assessment will have like even more difficult questions. If you don't do so well, it will actually prepare you for more entry level questions. It is summarized. So as you can see, like there is a snapshot on the left, and the SaaSguru team will share links in the chat as we go along in terms of how do you access some of the courses. There are short videos, and then there are micro modules, again, very similar to the philosophy that Trailhead has. And in that sense, it also complements Trailhead. It is gamified with study groups, nudges, challenges, and a global leaderboard. Like I've used their platform. I've seen their platform evolve over a period of time. I think the first time I saw it was when it was in a beta stage, and since then it's come a long way. So it's a fun way of learning Salesforce, and again, the same methodology that Salesforce has adopted with Trailhead, and they've done a really good job in terms of complementing Trailhead with these cert prep capabilities. The best part about SaaSguru, and that is the part which I like the most, and that is where I come in as well, is that it is community powered. Everything on SaaSguru platform, the content, the live classes, the mentoring, everything is driven by community. So they have a concept of gurus. I'm one of them, and then there are several others who have been in the ecosystem for a long time and have decided to contribute, and they have a certain mission called Mission 100 into 100, which I'll talk about as well. And the best part, like when you join the Slack channel, there are actually career opportunities that SaaSguru actually shares with you in terms of who's hiring. So as I said, like the eventual goal is it's a cert prep platform based on conceptual learning, and that is where it kind of resonates well with Trailhead. The idea is that you want to learn a certain product, you want to get certified on that product. How do you go about it? Obviously, you leverage Trailhead, and then you leverage SaaSguru along with Trailhead to do a certain to do a few things, which is benchmark your performance. For example, as I said, like you take the first practice test, it gives you a certain score. It establishes a benchmark for you. Maybe you are not so good in sharing. Maybe you're not so good in security or some of the other areas. Personalize. So you can actually personalize content based on your own experiences. You can revise key concepts. You can practice. And then the best part is that you can actually book classes with Mentor. I think that is where it is also different from Trailhead, because Trailhead operates at a different scale, and one-to-one mentoring or live mentoring is not possible. You can actually do that on SaaSguru. Moving on, if you become a part of the SaaSguru community, you get certification vouchers, you get product tips and updates. You can attend live classes and webinars. Again, as I said, like these are run by gurus and experts from all over the world. Like there are people from US, UAE, Australia, India running these. And then there is a Slack community, which is, and again, the advantage of having these people over different time zones is that you're able to pretty much get help across different time zones. So All right, so we'll get started with the agenda that I had. So a little bit of introduction about me. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for a long time. I started off in 2007 when it was a very small ecosystem, and it's been 15 years. And my wife calls it that I've been married to Salesforce since 2007 because I do spend a lot of time with it. It's been a great journey. In 2016, I became a Salesforce MVP, and then since then it's been 7 years, and the journey continues. I work for a company called CloudWorks. It's an Australian Salesforce partner, which is headquartered in Sydney, and we have a few offices in India as well. And then since I've been around for a very long time, I've done a number of certifications, which I believe is a good way to validate your skills and learn new products. I've also presented at a few conferences like Dreamforce, TrailDX, and a few others. And later this month, I'm looking forward to presenting again at Dreamforce. I run a local architect group. I'm very active in the Salesforce community. I used to run the developer group earlier. Now I run the architect group in Jaipur, which is also called as the Pink City of India. And I'm an ex-certified technical instructor. I actually used to teach the Salesforce Trailhead Academy classes for customers and partners in APAC and ANZ regions. And as I said, I'm a guru on and an advisor on saasguru. I specifically joined them for this mission, which is 100 gurus joining hands and contributing to skilling up the next generation of trailblazers. If anyone asks me like what do I do or how do I describe myself, I say I'm a developer at heart, an architect by role, and an evangelist by passion. And this is exactly what I love doing. So as I said, like as part of this introductory webinar, I actually want to make you aware that like this is a massive opportunity that is there in terms of the Salesforce ecosystem, and there are several reports that you'll find which are published on Salesforce. The most notable one is from IDC, where they actually run it every year and they do some projections. So it says 308 billion in new business revenue this year and 724 billion by 2026. Like we cannot even imagine what those numbers look like. And I was actually looking at some of the statistics, and this is well beyond, like even if you put 100 countries together, this is well beyond the GDP of those countries. So this is the kind of scale that we are talking about. If you are in India, like obviously the ecosystem is very strong. We are starting to see some effects in the IT industry of what is being called as a looming recession. I personally call it as a slowdown or a correction. Okay, so yeah, as I said, like it's a massive ecosystem, like lots of, and despite the talks of slowdown, if you go to any job site, you will actually see that there are a lot of partners who are hiring. Salesforce is still hiring. So in that sense, the ecosystem is still very, very bullish, not just in India, but in other parts of the world. But I see a lot of people from India. So I just actually wanted to call this out specifically for the India audience. In that sense as well, like if you are somebody who's moving from a different ecosystem, like you are a Java developer, a .NET developer, you are in a digital marketing role, then it's a fairly safe bet to make in terms of your career choices if you're entering the Salesforce ecosystem, assuming that you are prepared to work hard and do whatever is required to get an entry in the ecosystem. The best part about Salesforce is that it is not just technical roles. So you don't necessarily need to be a developer. You don't need to be an architect. There are multiple paths. If you are a business analyst, if you are a QA, if you are even like a sales or a service manager, if you are good at digital marketing, there are multiple paths that you can pursue. And again, all these paths are very well documented on the Trailhead website. If you just search for Salesforce career paths on Google, it will likely take you there. But there are a few paths which are obviously very rewarding, which is one is Salesforce developer, Salesforce architect, Salesforce consultant, and Salesforce admin. So these are kind of, I would say, the most common ones. And then business analyst, QA, and some of the others are also popping up. Okay, and again, like going back to the same slide, Salesforce economy is massive. And again, this is a global side, like not just India, but you can see that there is impact pretty much in every continent. And I think that is the way it will be, at least for the foreseeable future. What do you do as part of learning? So obviously, I'm assuming everyone here is familiar with Trailhead. If not, Akshay, if you could also drop a link to Trailhead in the chat. It's a Salesforce self-learning platform. Again, the idea is that you leverage Trailhead along with a platform like saasguru. You earn points, which is a gamified platform. You earn badges, and then once you feel confident enough, you appear for different certification exams. And once you take those exams, it actually acts as a good validation of your skill as well. Okay, so I am often asked, like, what is the value of Salesforce certifications? Why should I do a certification? Is it really worth it? And like, as I said, when I started 15 years back, like, it was a completely different ecosystem. There was no Trailhead, there was no SaaS Guru. The only way to learn Apex or any Salesforce concept was through a book, which was usually that thick. And I actually have some of those books in my bookshelf still with me. So um, I think if you are entering the Salesforce ecosystem now, you are actually very lucky in that sense. It's probably the best time. Like, there are such resources like saasguru and Trailhead, which make it easy. It's very important to get certified because it is a validation of your skill. And then there are a certain other aspects. And if you look at success stories in the Salesforce ecosystem, you'll come across several people who have actually made it from different domains. Like, I know people who were in the hospitality industry, somebody who was a chef but was really good with computers and logic, and he actually entered Salesforce and is a very successful functional consultant today. There are others, people who have moved from the healthcare domain, people who have moved from digital marketing domain, and again, the idea is that you learn a skill and then you get a validation on that skill by getting certified. The problem there is that there is too much to learn. Like, for example, Salesforce has more than 40 certifications. It has more than 70 products. And if you count products like Tableau, if you count products like Slack, uh, all those marketing products like Datorama, Marketing Cloud, Pardot, then it's too much to learn. And if you try and learn everything together, you will probably not be able to learn anything at all. So the idea is that you actually pace your journey. So if you are a starter, then probably the best starting point for you is the Salesforce certified admin exam. This is what we expect for anyone who's entering the Salesforce ecosystem, that they actually know the basic basic admin concepts. After that, it really depends on you. If you are more of a point and click or a declarative developer, or if you're not so comfortable with code, then app builder is a good next starting point. There is also the business analyst certification, which is very, very popular these days. And if you're specifically on the BA path, or you work in a BA role in a non-Salesforce domain, then it's a good logical next step for you. So this pyramid kind of defines that, like, there is always things that there is things that you know that you don't know, and then there are things that you don't know that you don't know. So it's a mix of these three. And then you can either go deep. For example, you could become a Service Cloud expert and specialize in Service Cloud and become a resident expert on Service Cloud. Or you could do enough, like you know Service Cloud use cases, you know how things work in Service Cloud, and then you also explore the other clouds like Sales Cloud or some of the other clouds like Experience Cloud, which are usually used in conjunction with Service Cloud. So again, as I said, you need to pace your journey, you need to pick your battles in that sense, and you need to pick your credentials in that sense whenever you're starting the journey. So why certification? So personally for me, like, I have seen these three big advantages of getting certified. One is that it brings discipline to our learning. And I think regardless of I think there are more than 120 odd people on this call. All of us have been in school, all of us have been in college. And whenever we had exams, I think all of us studied on the last day or the last night, and we hoped that that would be enough. And that is just human nature. We procrastinate, and the way the exams are designed, I think, like, we usually leave it to the last moment. So to avoid that, and again, if you try and learn a product and you don't have an end goal in mind, if you're not getting certified or if you're not building demos, then trust me, you'll never be able to do it. So certifications add a little bit of exam pressure, which is always good. And like, I've done a lot of certifications, but anytime I sign up for a new one, I still feel that pressure. And if I'm not studying enough, I feel a little bit of anxiety as well, which I think is a good thing. it's a validation of your skill. And this is something which I've said multiple times. Getting certified on a Salesforce product, or any product for that matter, does not mean that you're an expert on it. It means that you know enough. You know enough of the product to be able to use it. You are able to understand the core concepts, and then you will be able to apply them. It's a very common misconception that if you're a certified resource on Pardot, or if you're a certified resource or anything, that you know everything about it. The products are so deep that there is no way, absolutely no way, that you can know everything about it. And then specifically for this audience, if you are new to the ecosystem, or if you have recently joined the Salesforce ecosystem, then it drives you to be job ready. So for example, if you're coming from a Java domain or a digital marketing domain, which essentially means that um, you do not have any credentials to show, or you do not have the project experience which is needed to get jobs, then the advantage of getting certified is that you can actually vouch for things that you're certified, you know the concepts, and if needed, you can apply those concepts as well. So what exactly do you need to be successful in the ecosystem? And again, it's not rocket science, but it's also the place where most people fail. You need to have a understanding of core Salesforce concepts. And when I say core Salesforce concepts, it means the core Salesforce platform. This is absolutely non-negotiable. So unless you have this core understanding, you will be caught short at some stage in your Salesforce journey. If you are looking for a break, then it's very important to have a simple and effective resume. And this is a point which we will actually cover in one of the follow-up webinars in the next 3 weeks. You obviously need to have solid communication skills. And again, solid communication skills, soft skills. This is something which, again, I'll cover in terms of some of the tips which I can share, and some of the things which I look for in people, because I take a lot of interviews. And usually when a person introduces themselves, I'm able to figure out like if communication is one of their key strengths or not. Leadership skills. So again, this is an giving back attitude. And I think this is one of the USPs of the Salesforce ecosystem, that the idea of giving back and the idea of helping each other is so big that if you show that in the way you conduct yourself, then that can actually open up career opportunities for you. And obviously, like, again, another thing which is completely non-negotiable is you need to be willing to learn new things. If you're not willing to learn, then nobody can help you. And if you're willing to learn, and if you put in the effort, then nobody can stop you. And again, just to reiterate, like, despite whatever economic situations we are in the global economy, this is still a great opportunity to be a part of Salesforce ecosystem, and it's really there for you to tap it. What we'll discuss in the future webinars, as I said, this is 45 minutes, and I just wanted to keep it very high level. So we'll talk about things like how do you build your resume, primer in terms of how to build a resume which stands out, which is also simple, not overcomplicated. We'll talk about some interview tips, like if you are interviewing for an entry-level Salesforce role, what are some of the things that you can expect you will be asked? What are some of the things that can actually help you? Then a lot of misconceptions around cert prep are there, and based on my experience, again, I'll try and clear some of those misconceptions with some do's and don'ts. I do want to cover a few things. Like one of the very common questions I get is like, how do I get a certification voucher? I want to take an exam, but I don't have a voucher. This is purely coincidence. This is purely timing. Today, we have launched this contest in collaboration with Salesforce. There is this person called Gilda Hilaire at Salesforce, who's like probably one of the most helpful people in the Salesforce ecosystem. So she reached out to me and said that she wants to help people out, and she has 10 certification vouchers to give out. What she also wants to do is she wants to hear people in terms of their passion, what certification they want to do, why do they want to scale up on Salesforce. And if you want, you can take a screenshot of this, or if you go to just my LinkedIn profile, you will see this post from earlier today morning. And feel free to share your journey or your goals in terms of your learning goals. What do you want to do? And share it on LinkedIn or Twitter, latest by 10th of September. And Gilda will pick 10 winners based on the stories that they share, and they will get certification vouchers. And she's also promised some fairly exclusive Salesforce swag. So again, this is one of the opportunities. There are other programs as well, and that I'll cover in future webinars in terms of how you can actually get get certification vouchers. One of the other questions which comes up very often is like there are freshers who have done Salesforce as part of their curriculum or who actually went out of the way and did a Salesforce certification. How do they actually enter the Salesforce ecosystem? Like there is, if you search for Trailblazer Connect Career Fair, this is an initiative by Salesforce where they actually allow you to participate in career fairs where there are partners. Like I've been a part of these career fairs on the employer side. So we have actually hired a lot of people from these career fairs. These are people who are either from different backgrounds, who are college freshers, but either have like at least a basic understanding of Salesforce, have done the entry level certifications. In that sense, it's a really good opportunity for people who want to enter the ecosystem. There are also companies which are actually hiring. So I just did a quick search on LinkedIn, and I actually know a couple of them personally as well. So Milon Leaf Consulting is another company which is hiring. And yeah, the only other slide I had is a thank you slide. So thank you very much for attending, all of you. And I hope to see you in the next webinar.